Magic round is in the books, and what a week of highs and lows it was. Longy here from the Casual Athlete, here to bring you the recap of round 11, where all those high scores lived and some really, really low ones lived as well. Let's get right into it here with the Raiders game here first. So look, Hudson Young, super noteworthy one. 79 points. He had a massive game, scored 2 tries, had 2 forced turnovers, nice tackle count as well. Just a real work-on-like performance. If he doesn't make the Origin team, he could be a nice pod for you through this Origin period, right? So could be a guy to keep an eye on, but 79 points, I wouldn't expect that every week. Max King, 65 points, 62 minutes. Again, he can do that any given week. If he stays fit, he is a great option through the Origin period, and we know how good the Bulldogs buys are. I'll be looking at him very closely this round. KO week, 64 points here. Look, 600 kick meters is really nice. He had quite a few tackles. I think it was about 27 tackles as well. 75 run meters. He's just producing a great set of base stats with some attacking upside as well. And again, when Canberra win, his job security gets better and better and better. So I look at this and I think, you know what? I've got KO weeks. I'm going to plug him in as a weekly starter. This week I loopholed him in. But next week I think I can trust him as a weekly starter. He's that guy right now, 54-point average. It's absolutely insane. I don't think he maintains 54. I think it's going to be more like a 40 average. But we'll see how it pans out, and I'm ready for the upside. Jacob Kraz killed it, 62 points. We know what he does. Matt Burton, 58 points. He was on fire as well, and he's been on fire for a while here. Reed Money, a lot of you guys got on him. Look, 54 points. That's great. Just keep in mind if you have Jaden Brelly, you don't want 2 hookers for round 13. Preston came in, played 58 minutes, scored a try, 52 points. Look, if you can get back to 80 minutes, I'm very interested. But without 80 minutes, I don't really want to get on there. Morgan Smithies, 45 points, 64 minutes. A lot of you guys still have him, and he's plugging along all right. Then down the list here, no one super noteworthy to talk about. Josh Adokar, 15 points. I know a lot of you got on him. Had some big scores, obviously some lower scores. He's going to be that guy. He's a bit of a poor man's Dom Young, really, in terms of his fantasy scoring. All right, next group here, we got the Seagulls and the Broncos. And this was a big game, 13-12. Look, Reece Walsh pulled out of this one very late. Reece Walsh out meant Cobbo went to fullback, and they had a sub in at the center spot. What happened here? Look, Ruben Garrick turned up. 77 points. It was a tight, low-scoring game, and he still found his way to get into it. It was 8 tackle busts. I think he had about 212 run meters to try. He was on fire in this game. Ola Kawatu, 68 points. He probably will play Origin, right? If I was picking a team, he'd be one of the first guys I'd pick in that Origin side. He's been a weapon, one of the best edge back rowers going around right now. He's got to be an Origin, so you can't buy him. Same with Pat Carrigan, right? So Payne Haas hobbled off in this game. Didn't play the minutes you'd expect from him. Pat Carrigan, 59 points in 80 minutes. He's just a bit of a beast, right? Real workman-like performance. Absolutely turned it up. DCE, 57 points. You're happy with that if you own him. Down the list, look, Payne Haas, 45 points in 44 minutes. Not ideal for him. Tolu Kola, worth noting that he was absolutely on fire in this game and then copped what looked like a bit of a shoulder injury. So that really slowed him down. But at the same time, if he's all good for next week, I'm not worried. Has the buy in round 13, and he'll kick on after that as well. So if you don't have Kola, I would wait 2 weeks to buy him now because you're only missing 1 game for 2 weeks. But if you do have him, don't worry about it. Start him if he's named. He's going to be a really good fantasy producer. And then down the list here, Waddell scored all right. Tommy Talau, I don't know if you guys have him, and Tommy Talau's a bit of a weapon there at Manly now. Katoni Staggs, 28 points. Yeah, look, no one else super noteworthy down this list. So let's hop into the next game here. Knights v Titans. This was a cracker, and we didn't know what this was going to be coming to this game, right? So Newcastle started hot. The Titans fought back. It was a bit back and forth, and Newcastle came out on top. Thanks a lot to this guy here. David Armstrong, 87 points in this game. Just an absolute mammoth performance. He had 3 tries in this one. He had 250 run meters, 10 tackle breaks. He was on song, right? So can he do that every week? Absolutely not. He's not going to do that every week, right? He'll have games where he scores 20 points, but he's looking like a guy, again, with that 51 average. Maybe it lowers down to about 40. He's still a guy that we can trust as a starter right now, especially with the wing fullback spot being quite a bit weaker and us wanting to use money elsewhere as well. So, yeah, David Armstrong, take a bow. That was a great performance. Dylan Lucas killed it as well. 8 tackle busts in this one. Look, 76 points. He was on fire. Can Dylan Lucas keep this going? If the minutes keep coming and if Frizzell keeps playing at prop, then Dylan Lucas will absolutely keep this going. Look, not 79 points I'm talking about, over 50 average. Yeah, for sure. He's super potent. Great work rate. He's a gun. Dave Fafita, 66 points. He is on fire. Do not buy him before the Origin period, though. That's my advice. I wouldn't be making that move. Then we got a few more guys here. Bo Firma, 58 points. Still don't trust him fully at that price. Jaden Braley played 72 minutes. I'm a little worried about that, but 56 points on 51 tackles is fantastic for him. Then Dane Gagai, we know who he is. 50 points is classic for him. Kai Pearce-Paul was named on the bench, moved into the starting side an hour before kickoff, played 80 minutes in this game. Again, Frizzell played prop in this game, so it freed up a lot of minutes for Kai Pearce-Paul as well. Down the list here, Aaron Clark may be a beneficiary as Jolliffe is out injured right now. Aaron Clark might suck up some of those minutes, but we'll see how that works out. And then down the list here, look, Greg Marzu, 35 points without a try is absolutely fine for your winger. And then Bradman Best, 15 points, copped a hamstring injury. Bradman Best, that's not ideal for him and all the Blues. Jolliffe copped what looked like a shoulder or a pec injury. I think it was a pec. We'll see how that goes. Hopefully, I've been hearing 2 to 8 weeks, so hopefully it's on the shorter end of that because he's having a great season, Jamin Jolliffe. Real sort of career year for him, which is absolutely great to see. And also a great fantasy year as well, right? Which is secondary to, him being all right from his injury. So next up, we got the Sharks and the Roosters. Yeah, 38-30. Again, another shootout, right? So we had some pretty good games over this weekend of footy. Nico Hines turned up with 70 points. That's what we expect, right? He's a 73 average. He scored 70 points. Get him as captain. You were very happy with that. Dom Young, if you bought him, 63 points on 2 tries. Again, he's going to keep scoring tries. He keeps scoring those points. If he doesn't score a try, the fantasy score will be low. I think a 46 average is maybe about right for him this year. It might be a little bit more like 45, 44 as we go along the season, but yeah, mid-40s with those really high highs and the really low lows, and a great buy schedule for the Roosters. Connor Watson played 80 minutes, scored 60 points. I don't know what to say about this. Brandon Smith is sort of playing second fiddle to Connor Watson at this stage and on form, rightfully so. Connor Watson's on fire. Like, no diss to Brandon Smith, but Watson is looking like one of the better players in the competition right now. Just so dynamic. And for fantasy, it's popping off for him. All right, Nat Butcher, good score, 57. McInnes, 52. Gus Crichton, 49. Bit quieter. A lot of people captained him. You can't complain too much about a 50 score, but you hope for more, and you lost about 20 points to the people who captained Nico Hines. 46 for Tedesco. We'll see if he makes the Origin team. I think he will. There's a little bit of talk about Dylan Edwards as well, so we'll see how that plays out. And then down the list, Nakora, 34, very popular this week, very disappointing with that score. You want more than that from a guy that you're paying that price for. Atkinson, 27, he doesn't score the points with Hines in the team. That's just how it works. Luke Keary, 10 points, very quiet one for him. Should get cheap over the next few weeks. We'll see what happens there. Probably not on my watch list, a little bit too expensive for mine. All right, South Sydney and the Cowboys, and this was a bit of a bounce-back game for quite a few Souths players in terms of fantasy scores, even though it wasn't really the game for them in terms of winning the game, right? So you got Latrell Mitchell, 80 points in this game, had 10 tackle busts, had the try. He was on fire, right? So especially in the opposition red zone, he was really, really hot. But unfortunately, on the rest of the field, I think it was about 70 run meters in this game. It was a bit of a quieter game from him outside of the opposition 20, right? So 80 points is a massive fantasy score, but I don't know how that's going to be maintained, right? Because you look at the stat line and you sort of look at all these attacking stats, and they're proof of his talent. But if you're going to have 70 run meters, then you're going to have a lot of games where you score sort of 20 or 30 fantasy points as well. So just keep an eye on that, right? There's going to be highs and there's going to be lows with Latrell Mitchell. But if he doesn't play Origin, then you could be looking at him as a pod through this Origin period. So I don't mind that. Cody Walker, 72 points. We talked about him as a potential pod this week. Him and Luai were the two halves we're really looking at. Look, 494K, you got 72 points out of him. It's a big score. It's a big performance. He's a big player. That's pretty hot there. Damien Cook, 64 points, and he's playing on the field at the same time as Mamazelis right now, which is a bit weird to me, but look, 64 points. I have my eyes on Cook after the round 13 bye. That was a classic Cookie performance to try there as well. Dearden scored 2 tries, 52 points. He'll probably make Origin. Robson, 50 points, red hot there as well. You love that from him. Scotty Drinkwater, look, 46 points. You'll take it, but we're starting to get into some lower scores now. Tallis Duncan played more minutes, obviously with Moale going off, so 40 points is pretty good for him. Harvili, 34 points if you're looking at him. Ruben Cotter, really disappointed. 31 points in 57 minutes. You want more from him. At the same time, though, we're probably going to look for trading him before round 13 because Cotter will play Origin for sure. And he'll get a bit of a rest through that period as well. And then down the list here, if you haven't sold Finafuyaki, you better do it now. McKaylee, 19 points in 23 minutes. Not great if you brought him in and started him, but not the worst if you didn't start him because he should go okay through the Origin rounds. All right, next game here. Let's jump into it. The Warriors and the Panthers, and this was an absolute cracker, wasn't it? And I'll tell you what, listening to the game, it felt like the whole stadium was rooting for the Warriors. You know, up the wires was the energy. Isaiah Yeo did his best with that try and sort of stop the train, but he also had a sin bin in this game, so it balanced out. 67 points. That's about what you'd expect from him. Next game, we got Tamari Martin as well, 64 points. He was red hot. He took 600 kick meters. He was that dominant half for them. Dylan Edwards, 62 points. He keeps getting it done. Look, 57 average. That is absolutely insane. At this stage, you have to wait and see, right? Is he going to get picked for Origin because his form has been so good? And he might be in the picture. We have a new Blues coach. I have no idea what's going to happen there. If he doesn't get picked for Origin, you could look at spending up big and getting him. But bloody hell, he's expensive now, isn't he? Isaac Tungo, 55 points. Yeah, scored a try. And he's a guy I'm eyeing off for this week. So we could have a look at him this week. Maybe a Max King this week. Those sorts of guys are very attractive to me right now. Nickel Klogstad played in the halves, scored 53 points. He was looking like he could score more, but he sort of got a bit quiet towards the end. Still very, very good performance from him. Jazz Tavanga had a big game. We know he can do that whenever he gets the minutes. Dylan Walker started at lock. Obviously, for Tohu Harris was a late pullout. He had a big game too. Tuapiki, another one who was solid. Adam Fanua-Blake only played 49 minutes this game, got a big rest. I don't know. I mean, Tohu got the rest from the game. Fanua-Blake got a rest during the game. Maybe it was just a strategy. Maybe he goes back to his big minutes next week. They didn't have a rest in round 13 anyway, so worth keeping an eye on there. Cole was a bit quieter. Fisher Harris a little bit quieter as well. If you were talking about buying him. And then Wade Egan, obviously he had quite a game, got knocked out of the game pretty early with injury. Look, 9 points. It's not great. Hopefully he's all right. That's the first thing. He's had a few issues with injury. But if he is fine, then he's going to keep being that gun fantasy scorer. If not, then you'll have to look to move him. Alamotti as well, 13 points, really quiet from him. You expect a bit more. Subbing in for Taylor May, who was out of this game. Then the Storm and the Eels. All right, this was a tough one. As a Parramatta fan, you can see the Para jerseys behind me. This is a tough game to watch. It's been a tough year to watch, really, for Parramatta. Jermaine Hopgood, he was a bit of a shining light down the stretch. Look, he produced some fun attacking plays. A little bit too late in the game for them to count, but for fantasy, they all count, right? So 73 points. If you got him, you're very happy with him. Eli Katoa outleapt Sivo for a try on a bomb. He was on fire in this game. He started a bit slow and then just really heated up and warmed into it. 69 points is fantastic for him and a 55 average. Harry Grant, 66 points. Look, 2 tries and a try assist. I expected a few more fantasy points from him. So 66, it's a great score. It's absolutely a great score. But from watching the game, I thought he might end up on 80 or 90 points. So a little bit of a letdown in terms of the production compared to how good he was in real life, right? Dylan Brown, 56 points. He's been on fire for a while now in terms of fantasy scores. Sean Bloor, another 73-minute game and scored 47 points. Again, that's absolutely fine. We'll take that score. Fair Longo scored 42. Talangi, 39. Both those guys sort of turned up for this one. Bailey Simonson grabbed the try, but only 27 points. So a bit more disappointing if you got on him because you're expecting a bigger number, I'm guessing. Then down the list, look, Cam Munster, he was knocked out of the game as well with an injury. 22 points. I don't know how long he's going to be. It looked like a pretty rough one, but at the same time, he's a tough player, man. Like if there's someone who can play through an injury and play at a high level, it's Cam Munster. So I have no idea how long he's going to be out for. Hopefully not too long. And as much as I'm a Blues fan, I hope he doesn't miss Origin, right? You want your best players in that arena. And Cam Munster is half the reason why a lot of people watch Origin. So yeah, hopefully he's all good. Then we've got the Tigers and the Dolphins. Justin Olam came up big, 78 points. That is a huge score from him. You got 33 average, 78-point game. He, again, just a dominant running performance, right? So I think he had about 8 tackle breaks, 5 offloads. He was just doing a bunch on that edge, right? Tigers couldn't win that game, but Olam was the winner of his matchup. And I thought he did everything right in this game. So kudos to you, Justin Olam. Then down the list here, we've got Sullivan, another big game, 66 points. Does he keep the starting spot? I don't think so. I think they bring Caesar back into the team, but still a great score for him. Galvin, 59 points. We love that from Galvin. And look, Galvin's a guy you got to hold for a while now, right? The Tigers have an amazing buy schedule. He's a guy who can average around 50 points. He's a borderline keeper. Probably not quite a keeper, but a borderline keeper. I think he'll work his way in towards 700K at some point this year. So just ride that wave with him. Mark Nichols, good-looking guy, very good-looking guy with the bald head and the beard, of course. Look, 57 points. He keeps scoring tries. That's the bit that's perplexing, right? Mark Nichols just keeps crashing over for tries. He's seems like a great guy, but he's pumping tries, right? So can he keep that up? Probably not for fantasy, but at the same time, I wouldn't mind having a clone of myself in my fantasy team. Lemuelu played 80 minutes, scored 56 points. He is firmly on the watch list. Firmly on the watch list. I don't know if I can do it. The minute security is a bit dicey. Plath comes back next week as well, but let's keep an eye on those team lists because he's a good player, and he's a really good player. Well, let's talk about him coming into this week. 44 points, pretty good. Ewan Aitken, 46, had that try called back, so it could have been a much bigger day for him. Jerry Marshall King, 43 points. Yeah, good shout. Good shout. And then down the list here, Katoa, Samuel Alfino. So he went off with a bit of a hammy issue, maybe a cramp, I'm not sure, but he was tracking for an okay day and then it just really fizzled out, which is disappointing for those of us who have him. Maybe Farmworth, I've been high on him. 24 points is not great. Maybe he updates with the try assist. I don't know. That was a tough one to watch. The attack was pretty disjointed on that edge, so hopefully they can figure it out and he gets back to his good scores. And then down the list here, yeah, Dream Buller, very quiet game, getting cheaper for us, and nothing too much to report there. So that is the recap of round 11. How did you go this week? Hopefully it was a big one for you. I dropped about 100 ranks, so I went down to about 428 ranked now, which, on the back of that final game, Samuel Alfino and Herbie Farmworth, I still am happy with them. They're good buys, they're good players in real life, but they didn't help me today. Anyway, hopefully it was a good week for you. I'll see you on the next video. Peace out.